All right, this is my first time doing Instagram Live. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure how the volume works, if you'll be able to hear me. But if you can't hear me and you're watching this later, you can just follow along with the poses. They're mostly all poses that I think you'll probably know anyway. So say hi, let me know if you're here so I can see the comments afterwards, and let me know if you're able to hear me. I'll probably have my husband check in and see. This is just like a short-ish yoga flow that would feel good when you're on your period, but it would also feel good just if you're feeling like bloated or have cramps or any sort of stomach pain. These are all poses that for me personally in my body really help me to feel really good, like digestionally, if that makes any sense. So yeah, oh look, my husband's on, that's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna get started. So if you wanna come to your mat and take child's pose, that's gonna be where we get going. All right, so coming to a comfortable place on your mat, take your knees as wide as your mat. One of the things that can be really beneficial on your period is doing hip opening because you can hold so much stress in your hips from cramps. So come on down into your child's pose. Pardon my sniffling, I'll be sniffling a little bit. In child's pose, I want you to take a few really deep breaths. Let your stomach really fill up on your mat. Get really big, really fill up that space between your legs. Take another big, deep breath. And if you're watching this on the replay and you want to just take a few more breaths in a spot, do it. This is more a sped up version of how I would do it on my own. So now walking your hands over to the right, taking your left hand on top of your right to really open up your side body. Your hands are walked to the right, your left hip is being pulled down with the weight of gravity. Again, really thinking about opening your hips. Walk your hands now through center and over to the left. And filling your belly up with your breath, really working on having as much space taken up on your mat as possible. It's really common for us to try to take up less space in the world, and I think yoga is one of those spots where you can really work to take up as much space as your body can inhabit. Your hands are to the left, you're thinking about your right hip coming down. All right, walking your hands back through center. You're gonna bring your knees together and drop into just a couple of cat-cows. So thinking about alignment, you have your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips, and you inhale, open your heart, lift your head, fill your belly up again as big as possible, and exhale out all of that air, really arching through your back. It's hard to tell what I'm doing in my giant shirt. Move through a couple more cat-cows just with your own breath, kind of finding what space feels good in you and in your body. And if that feels like it's not doing enough for you, you can start to really just kind of move through your cat-cows. I like to inhale and go forward and exhale and come back. Intuitive movement is probably one of the best things that you can be doing for your body, especially when it feels kind of immunocompromised like I am now getting over being sick, or when it's just feeling extra sensitive like it is when you're on your period. All right, bringing your knees all the way together and sitting back on them into your hero pose here. I'm going to inhale your arms forward, mimicking that cat pose. I like to really clasp my hands and feel as though someone is pulling my shoulders out. Drop your head completely. And then when you inhale, really fill up. When I do this with my kids, I talk about if you were holding a balloon and you are filling the whole balloon up to fill up the whole space. And exhaling out all of that air. And now coming up on your knees, we're gonna take a really soft camel. So just taking your fingers are pointing down towards the ground, kind of resting on that shelf at the top of your bum. And you're just gonna open your heart a little bit. Don't think about really back bending here. You're just at the very beginning. Your body is sensitive, especially when you're on your period. It's just a hefty time for bodies. So really gently giving some space there. With each inhale, think of your heart lifting just slightly higher. If it feels good on your neck, you can release it. For me, I like to just kind of keep my neck aligned. Keep my spine one long line. Big breath through that heart again. And now sit back down. This time, let your hands come back and grab your heels. If that doesn't feel comfortable to your body or it's not accessible to where you're at, let your hands just come down to your mat. Head comes down to the ground, and now lift up. So if your hands are here, you might have a really limited range of motion. I do. This is called rabbit pose. And for me, my rabbit pose is like this tiny little movement, but it feels so good in my shoulders and my back. So I grab onto my heels, I tuck my chin under just a bit and lift my bum up. Breathe there, exhale and come down. Inhale and come up. Exhale and come down. Again, you can do this with your hands here. Inhale and come up. Exhale and come down. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. And then come on back up. We're gonna come back up to this camel again. This time maybe coming a bit deeper. Camel is the pose where you're all the way back here. But if that's not something that you have in your body right now, or maybe you just don't have it because it's early in the morning, or you're on your period, or you're just feeling sick, or you don't want to, you can make it more accessible by coming up on your toes like this, and then reach back for those heels. That just gives you a couple inches of height. You can also remain right here. I'm gonna come all the way back into it, so I'm gonna inhale, exhale and come down. Camel is one of those poses that's kind of counterintuitive. You wouldn't think this would help cramps, but it gives a really good stretch to that abdominal wall and a release through the front of your thighs. Come on up slowly. Come down. Take a deep breath. And we're going to come up and do it one more time. So if that didn't feel good the first time, try a modification, try a different way to do it, try something that feels good to you, or as always, if this isn't feeling good, just take child's pose. You can hang out wherever feels best for your body during a yoga class. There's no reason to need to do what the person in the front or the person in front of you or next to you is doing. The idea is doing what feels good in your body in that moment. These are just suggestions, basically. All right, we're gonna do one more camel. Inhale, exhale and reach back. If you feel good in your camel and this feels accessible to you, you can get light on that right hand and lift and twist. Breathe deep in your twist. Bringing your hand back down, lift the left hand up. Twists are always good for digestion. They're always good for that kind of detoxifying with stomach pain and bloating. All right, come on back down. Cross your feet underneath you and come to sitting. I'm gonna face you now. So I'm kind of wiggling around on my mat, different than I would be if I was doing this flow myself, but that's okay. So we're here in not Supta Baddha Konasana, that'd be laying down. Baddha Konasana, which is just heels together. There's so many different names for it. My girls call it butterfly. Lots of people call it cobbler's pose. Here with your heels together, if it feels really intense to you and your thighs, take your legs out a little bit further or even offset them. Find a way that feels best and most nourishing to your body. I know I keep saying it, but it's really important to not push yourself to do a pose that doesn't feel good, but to find that edge of comfort and discomfort and to never push into that edge of pain, but just stick with that. So from this spot, I like to hold on to my ankles, straighten my back, lift through my heart, and breathe here. And if you find you can move in a couple more inches from there, go for it. I kind of rock back and forth, find that sit bone spot, and breathe. One of the best things you can do for your body is take deep breaths. And that's something accessible to you whether or not you're doing this practice or you're just kind of watching me and laughing at it, or if you are just interested. Deep breaths are where you're at any time. Okay, now take your right hand and cross it over, grabbing your left ankle. Find that straight long spine and lift your left arm up. Do a little bend. One more breath here. switch sides and bring your left hand to your right ankle and your right arm comes up for that bend. I feel this bend in my side body. I also feel it in my inner thighs. When I'm on my period, it feels like the cramps start at my knees and go to my collarbones. So it's kind of that entire area. I really want to open and stretch and bring better blood flow and a little bit of intention to those spots. All right, now again, you're going to hold on to both of your ankles, lift through your chest, lift your chin up, and take a deep breath. Remain here. I'm just turning to the side to show you the next minute little pose here. So with your heels and the bottoms of your feet firmly pressed together, you've got your spine straight. Now move your hands behind you. I have really short arms, so I almost always tend to my fingertips when I'm using them to hold myself, but most people can be flat palmed here. But whatever feels like it's gonna hold you up best. Lean back into your hands. Let your hands lift your heart even higher, almost like you have a little arch. Drop your head back and breathe here. You might find that you almost lift off the ground even. That's totally okay. If you want to pull your feet out just a little bit and find just a little lift, that might give you more opening through those inner thighs. One more breath. All right. Coming back down, now you're going to swing those feet out behind you. Tuck your toes underneath you and lift your sit bones to the sky for downward facing dog. So kind of the deal in down dog is that your heels being on the ground is way less important than your hips being up towards the sky. I'm gonna tie my shirt up for a second to show you what I'm talking about. So your down dog might look more like this. You're really going to bend your knees until you can feel your belly touch the tops of your thighs, and then work on straightening out those legs. But instead of working on this, you can kind of get yourself into this weird shape where you're working really hard to get those feet on the ground as opposed to getting those sit bones up high. So find the shape and the position that helps you get your hips and your bum just facing straight up and the most triangle shape to your body that you can. This is one of those poses that I feel like it can really benefit to have a mirror next to you when you're first learning it. Here in your down dog, just keep breathing. If this is your first one of the day, maybe it is for me, maybe work on pedaling it out a little bit. Whenever teachers suggest that, I do it really exaggerated. It's a really easy way for you to stretch out the legs, the thighs, the side of your hips. Push the ground away from you. Really involve your shoulders. And now we're going to add a little twist to our dog. Also, as always, if this is feeling really intense on your wrists, a lot of people it will, just come on down and shake it out and join once you're feeling good again and once you're feeling like you have that in your wrists. And if not, just take your twists here. So here in your down dog, you're taking your left hand to your right ankle and kind of looking under your arm, taking deep breaths, trying to put equal weight into the 3 grounded limbs here. One more breath. All right, switch sides. Right hand comes to left ankle. All right, now come on down to your knees and take a couple cat-cows. So inhale, fill your belly up. Exhale, cat. And now stepping your right foot up between your hands, which can be a really difficult transition for a lot of people. Don't hesitate to just move however you need to move to make it happen. You're going to pull that left knee back a little bit and find this low lunge. If this feels really difficult on your knees, it does for me. I don't have any knee injuries, but it just hurts. So I often just roll my mat over just like that to give myself a little bit of space. So So now, like in every lunge or squat, you want your knee to be lined up and not coming in front of your ankle. So that means often you have to pull your stretch out a little bit. I'm gonna fix my hair because this is ridiculous. You can rise up in your low lunge if you'd like to, or you can stay low. Move around in your lunge to find kind of what feels good for you. I think I'm about ready to cut this all off. All right, so here in your lunge, you're gonna move back and forth. So opening it up into your hamstrings and then moving back into your lunge from your hamstrings into your lunge. And everybody's gonna be at a different spot with this. It's important to note that a lot of that is anatomical. Some people just have more mobility and more flexibility than other people. I do. I have what's called hypermobility. So I'm really bendy even without trying a lot of the time. A lot of what I can do has been from a lot of practice and effort, but a lot of it is stuff that my body just does because I'm double jointed or things like that. So it's important to not compare your body to anyone else's because there's things that some bodies can do that others can't and vice versa. All right, so now taking that right foot, heel toe it out to the very edge of your mat and take your hands on the inside of it. We're gonna lift up that back leg and find our lizard lunge. This is one of my favorite poses. It really opens up my thighs for me. So this is a great lizard lunge, great place to hang out. If you're feeling like you're ready for a little more stretch, you can come down to your forearms here. This is one you always see if you're a Whole30 follower. Melissa Hartwig does this one all the time. All right, if you're a runner and you're feeling really tight, a great way to modify this is to come on up, bring your knee down, and this is gonna give you like the quad stretch of the mother of all quad stretches. So what I did was dropped my knee back down, came up, lifted that back leg, and now I'm opening out onto the edge of my foot. My foot's up and lifted. Breathing there, adding it back down. Knees come back. You could take a cat-cow or child's pose here. And now your left leg will come up between your hands. Again, finding the best position for your lunge. For me, I have to lengthen my my kind of track here a little bit. And then start to move back and forth in and out of that hamstring and lunge. And this is just another way for you to open your hips up, bring more blood flow to it, which can feel really good. Oftentimes when I have cramps or I'm on my period, it feels like I'm just kind of like clenching this entire part of my body. All right, I'm gonna move back and forth in it. Okay, and then coming down, I'm going to heel toe my left foot out to the very edge of the mat again. And then I'm gonna lift that back leg for my lizard lunge. And if it feels good to you, it does for me. So if it feels good for you, come on down to those forearms. And I like just moving back and forth on my toe, my back toe. If you could see all of it, you'd see me going back and forth on that toe. And then again, if you'd like to intensify this and you're really tight through your quads, but you want more opening and you have that, then you'll put that leg back down, twist open to the left side, lift that back leg up, and let your right foot fall onto kind of the knife edge of that foot. I look like a purple people eater today. Like purple pants, purple this, and this purple mat. This mat is Prana. I got it at the Sweat Pink retreat, and I'm obsessed with it. It's so squishy. All right, drop that down. Come on back. Take a child's pose. You can see my notes flying away. I kind of haven't gone with them. Just have a couple more poses here. I'm going to move through them fairly fast because this is going pretty long. Come on down to your belly. And then come up into kind of a Sphinx pose. So your shoulders, your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. You're pushing down through the ground, through those outstretched fingers and those wide palms. Pushing the ground away. The goal here is to really inhale deeply to fill up and press your belly against the ground. It seems kind of counter and strange to do, but it's a really, really great way to give those internal organs there kind of a massage. Pushing them into the ground aids in digestion. It creates just that wall of pushback for them to kind of move against in a really positive way. Okay, now taking your right hand, cross it in front of your body, sweep your left hand back behind your body, and this is a supported bow. So once you're here, you can use your leg to pull. Your leg is way stronger. So you can use your leg here. If I just try to lift, I don't get a lot of lift. But if I find that oppositional pull where my leg is lifting and my arm is supporting, I can find a little lift. For my supported bow here, one more breath. Release. Now I put my left hand down here, it's across me. Your right hand comes back and grabs for that ankle, and that leg pushes, and I find supported lift. One more breath. Release it down. Now letting my hands come down, my chest come down. If it feels good to you, you can find both of those back feet and find your full bow. Mine isn't very high, but it feels good. If this doesn't feel good to you, just find a spot where you can reach for them, or keep your feet lifted, toes lifted, and just lift for a little rock. So whatever bow feels good to you, take it. I like breathing here, and it makes me rock back and forth as my stomach fills up and empties. One more breath. Release down. Put your head to one side. Let your body fill up and empty. When you're ready, push yourself back up and find a seat on your mat. Let me just gonna grab a pillow, hold on. So I don't have a bolster, that's on my like yoga dream list, I really want one. But this pillow kind of acts as one. A forward fold is always gonna feel good to your body. It's gonna be a really good way to kind of bring it some relief for your sympathetic nervous system. It's gonna calm it down, and it's even more calming and more restorative if you prop with a pillow underneath your knees. So I'm gonna put this pillow underneath my knees to just kind of give my hamstrings a break, give my legs some rest, and really give my forward fold all the juicy flop over that I need while I'm on my period. So I've put this underneath my knees. I'm gonna inhale and elongate. And I'm gonna exhale and fold. So I'm not trying to have the world's deepest fold, the world's straightest back, most perfect, beautiful Ashtanga lay over here. I'm just trying to like let my body feel good. And that's really my goal. It's that yoga with Adriene, find what feels good mentality is where I'm at with this one. So I inhale, elongate, exhale, and really fold. And you can let your legs even open up here. Whatever really feels good to you, take it. Drop your head and breathe deep. I'm gonna do it for a couple breaths here. One more breath. All right. And then you can lay back. You could do a couple of reclined twists if you'd like, but take your Savasana. Don't cut your Savasana short, especially when you're looking for something restorative, or you're on your period, or you're recovering from being sick, or you're just recovering from something mentally that feels really big, like a really hard week or a hard day or a sad conversation. Take that time to let your body unwind. Savasana is kind of when the magic happens. It's when your body and your brain and your breath can really all come calm, and they can take all that you've done in your practice and assimilate it into your body so that it can grow into something. I used to always cut it short, and Now I keep it as like a minimum of 7 minutes because I really need that for my body to get the benefits from it. So yeah, if you did this practice with me, now turn everything off or turn on music that you love. I have like 10 Spotify playlists for yoga that are all amazing. Grab one of those songs and just lay down for it and let your body rest for it. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. I'm all sweaty. And that it was beneficial to somebody, or that you get to do it and it feels good. Let me know if you liked it. Leave me a comment or send me a message. And if it was something that worked for you, I would love to do more of these. Narrating my own practice is good for me as a brand new teacher. I need all the help I can get at getting better at this. And I really like new ways of connecting with Instagram because this is like where my community's at, where my heart's at. So yeah, thank you guys so much.